Hello, my name is John Rose, and in part 5 of this video series, we are going to continue where we left off from part 4, where we're looking at controlled opposition and how they infiltrate the truth movement, for example, with Jan Irving, and the health movement with people like Dr. Joel Wallach. Now, I'm not convinced Wallach is necessarily controlled opposition, but he's definitely a misinformation agent. And then we went into the works of Dr. Weston Price, who I'm very fond of, because Weston Price proved that processed food is harmful, but you always have to consider the work of Price with Pottinger, because Pottinger proved that cooked food is harmful. Pottinger did a 10-year study with cats, fed them basically the same food, but half the cats he let them eat it the way they would eat it in nature, and the other cats he made them eat it the way we ate it. Or eat it, and he cooked it for them, and they developed all the same illnesses and ill behaviors and birth defects and all sorts of problems that we had. So there's proof positive that when you alter your food, you end up having problems. Now, the thing about Weston Price is he not only proved that the processed food is harmful, without any doubt, but then he noticed the benefits of what he identified as Activator X and what we now call vitamin K2. But what we have to understand about this Activator X or vitamin K2 is that it's a lot like DHA and cholesterol and taurine, even vitamin D. These are all considered level 2 nutrients. Now, in order to understand level 2 nutrients, you have to understand that we have two groups of needs. And these two groups of needs come from two anatomical limitations. So the first group of needs based on the law of cause and effect. That's where we have 12 essential needs. But then when we don't satisfy those needs, especially our food, we end up having two additional temporary needs. One of those would be 10 subsequent needs from being disconnected. 6 of those are causing problems. They're problems of knowledge. I've gone over those before. But then we've got these subsequent causes that don't go away just because we remove the primary causes. And now why is that? Because we've damaged our anatomy and our environment. And that's why we have these two anatomical limitations. The first anatomical limitation is the one we're born with, especially our species-specific diet. But then the problem is we didn't satisfy that diet. Now we damaged ourselves, and we've actually become dependent upon our mistakes. And now we've created these a need for this second group of needs. But what we have to understand is all these different concerns, whether it's K2 or B12 or DHA or cholesterol or any of those level 2 nutrients, we know they're real concerns for people. But the thing we have to realize is that our ideal diet is only our ideal diet in an ideal world. And we no longer live in an ideal world. And that's why we have to satisfy this other group of needs. But we have to understand that our ability to digest and consume food does not make the body impervious to the danger caused by that food. This is part of the flaw with the work of Weston Price. He noticed that this K2, this Activator X, helped the teeth better, but he didn't realize the other effects that came from eating the animal products and food that we're not biologically adapted to eat. So in the field of nutrition, we have to understand how difficult it is to make sense out of this, because what happens is a lot of people will use their mistakes as a reason to keep making their mistakes. But you have to be aware of both of these anatomical limitations. If you eat something that provides you a level 2 nutrient, for example, like DHA, then your body can atrophy and no longer be able to make it. So that's what happened to people from the Norwegian area. They've eaten so much fish, they've gotten a direct source of DHA that now their body doesn't make any. So that's the key when it comes to understanding these level 2 nutrients. If we provide our body with a level 2 nutrient, our body can atrophy, and we might need it on a temporary basis. But it's part of that other group of needs. And it doesn't negate the fact that we still have anatomical limitations. We still have to respect the fact that we have a species-specific diet. And we've damaged our anatomy, and that means that we might not get everything we need from our diet. So that's where the supplementation comes into play. And it's always ideal to do as less harm as you can, but we have to be realistic and realize that we have to make do with what we got. Sometimes if we don't have an avenue or access to supplements, then we go ahead and have to take an animal product like an egg, for example. So keep in mind that we always want to keep learning, because when we learn, we're in for a treat.